Now, even though we are not in severe weather season, I figured this question was a valid one just because of Hurricane Milton making landfall earlier this week on the Florida Peninsula. It is, how do whirlwinds form? Thank you to a viewer for sending this in. And our very own Bridget Maxwell also wants to know how whirlwinds form. So we'll start out by saying, what is a whirlwind? It's basically in the family of tornadoes. And how we want to know tornadoes, how do they form? That's the big question. So how we're going to do this, we're going to talk about how they really start to get going thanks to the atmospheric conditions that will set up and eventually give us the production of a tornado. First, we want shear, wind shear. We start out generally with lighter winds at the surface, and as you step up into the atmosphere, those winds get stronger. So that's the first ingredient, wind shear. Faster winds, and basically what it is if you hold kind of a dowel or any sort of rod in between your hands and you roll it around, that's what the air in the atmosphere is doing. It's spinning around. That's the wind shear, acting as a rotating column of air. This is the first ingredient that you need. Second one is lift. When thunderstorms develop, we get updrafts, winds moving from the surface up into the atmosphere. This will lift that column of air up into the atmosphere further. And as it does so, eventually that column will start to turn vertical, and that is when we will start to see the production of a wall cloud within a very strong, severe thunderstorm, a supercell, and eventually that tornado in the rotating column of air will fall down, and as soon as it hits the surface, it is considered a tornado. If that rotating column of air does not reach the ground, it is considered a funnel cloud, not officially designated as a tornado. So that's this week's question. How does a whirlwind form? So essentially, it's just in the family of tornadoes, and this whole process applies to a whirlwind. Thank you for sending in that question, and if you have any more questions related to weather and science, please send them in, weather@kimt.com. I got a few questions last week, so I'll be answering more of those coming up over the next couple of weeks.